All right. Do 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 do. And my forehead shiny as a. All right. Okay. Oh shit! I see what's going on. All right. If anybody sees me, pardon me. I'm over here trying to figure out how to use this restrain. All right. Okay. It didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Okay. All right. So, hola, buenos noches, buenos dias. My name is Trekkw2ks, and welcome to Weekend Crypto, brought to you here on the Gentleman of Crypto Network. If you don't know, the basic idea is I cover crypto-related news over the weekend, pop it out 08 Monday morning, but I do it with a no price talk filter, which means I don't give you no degen things. I don't tell you what's in my wallet. I don't tell you how the fair and index the fear and greed index is looking right now. I'm not giving you the tea on what's the best altcoin to put your funds in. None of that. It's literally, here are the stories that caught my eye and scratched my brain. I was doing a lot of moving around this weekend on the gang side. For those who know I'm still military connected, and so yeah, I didn't run through the stories like I usually would. And so with that, I decided last minute to try this live thing out because there was something that I wanted to do with the live stuff. Hey, shout outs to the Simonson family, Assets and Arbitrage, because I had to go in on the platform that we use and change some things around. I apologize to y'all if I don't put it back correctly. Just going on public on saying that. But nonetheless, I did catch some stories. There are one or two things that did scratch my brain. Considering that this is live, I'm on a learning curve right now, y'all. I appreciate the folks who are jumping in. Yeah, we live right now. Mistakes and all, y'all. Mistakes and all. But yeah, so like I said, this weekend and like literally been on the road and stuff since last week. And finally back home to when the hell did I get back home? I got back home yesterday, y'all. Yeah, it's a lot of motion. It's a lot of motion, but nonetheless, I got some stories. And hold on one second. What is going on? You know what? Yo, can y'all hear me? Can crypto site? Can you put a one? Hey, morning, Reggie. I appreciate you, sir, for jumping in. I appreciate everybody for jumping in. Oh, I don't say it often, or I do say it every episode, but like I appreciate the lurkers. I appreciate the folks who are coming back in. Because y'all are actually following my segment and stuff. I appreciate the folks who are discovering for the first time. Hopefully I say something that catches your ear, gets you to question what's going on in the space and how you're operating in it. But do understand, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a financial advisor. I just happen to be somebody who's been around the space for a while. And you kind of see the trends and patterns of behavior for how personalities and companies within this growing industry tend to move. And so there's definitely a couple of things outside. Thank you all. I do appreciate. So, all right. And I haven't done the live on this. So I'm literally like going through the process of learning how to deal with the live. So I got a couple of stories, definitely less than my usual, but nonetheless, I got some things, right? Oh, you're kidding me. All right. Okay. So when I added in the screen that has, oh man. I might, well, it should have did that, no? I might have to, hold on. Let me see something real quick. I might have to push this down even lower. That might make a difference. All right. So I'm trying to lower the frame rate and stuff to see if that this shouldn't be that bad. All right. So I was messing around with some stuff on the back end to see. Other thing before I get into the stories, as I've been saying, we are in tax season. So this segment is brought to you by CJ the Smart Guy. I'm not telling you you have to use CJ, but if you are in the States or in the US jurisdiction, it is better to cross your T's and dot your I's because the IRS is a beast, y'all. And I've covered a number of stories over the last like 8 months that one show that they've been doing some court case wins that make them more apt at getting in people's business, as well as just cross your T's and dot your I's. Like we already see that even if you're not an American company or an American citizen, the US will find ways to get in your ass, like bottom line. So link for his stuff is in the description on it. Just so you have, oh, come on, y'all. Just so you'll have a reference point. Link is in the description. You'll be able to. So here's my question: is the audio messing up with the video, or is it that you still hear me, but the audio? I mean, sorry, but the video is freezing. Can somebody let me know in the live chat? Might have to. Oh, that's what it did. So it did that. Oh, okay. Is it doing the tab works better? Than trying to run a whole. All right, let me try something. Tab. Oh. All right. I'm trying something else. All right, y'all. I'm trying something else, and we gonna see. Does this make a difference? And I'm trying to do it in the time window because I don't want to mess up the Stack Brothers. All right. Come on. Come on. Uh, um, all right. So this is messing up, and it's taking a minute to drop the share. Okay. I literally dropped the share. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Nerd up, what up, what up? Damn. My voice feels funny. Okay, listen, so I'm hoping y'all can hear this. So basically, trying to add the share screen in for the articles is just weighing down the bandwidth like crazy. I'm not certain on the why. Um, so I'm just gonna have to take that side out. I'll read the titles of the stuff and kind of try to deal with it that way. And I'll also tell you where I got the excuse me, where I got the what you call it off of. Um, yeah. All right. Yeah, it's still showing the background. Anywho, technology, right? For advanced as we are, it's still um technology is still technology. Anywho, so I got a couple stories, X amount of international stuff, X amount of local stuff. On the international scene, jumping over to UK. So the UK, and I think I had covered articles similar to this topic last week, where the UK came up with a new regulation called. Okay, so let me read the article. I got this one off of Crypto Daily, right? Pardon me. UK law enforcement will have an easier time seizing crypto assets after April 26th. So it goes, law enforcement agencies in the United Kingdom will soon be able to seize and freeze crypto assets with much more ease. An amendment to the Economic Crime and Corporate Transparency Act, expanding the power of law enforcement, will take effect on April 26th. So the basic idea behind this is that still hearing you loud. All right, great, thank you. Hey, what's up, Science and Family? Listen, I said apologies earlier when I first started this morning. I had to change some of the stuff around. I didn't understand how the live stream setup works. I'm gonna put back the things when I'm done. But thank y'all for jumping in. I was gonna email you all about this afterwards. Anywho, back to this article. So the basic bottom line is the UK regulators do just like what we do here in the States. We'll name a regulation that sounds very positive, but in fact, when you look into the devils and the details of what it does, it is arguably 100%, if not 90%, opposite of what the name tends to entail. And so with this, this new regulation, more so the amendment, gives the UK's law enforcement authorities the ability to seize your crypto assets by one, contacting the exchange directly, and they don't have to they don't have to get you, arrest you, put you through the process, then go to the court to be like, hey, we want to seize or freeze, blah, 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 blah. And then they get the paperwork from the court. And then they'll go back and go to the exchange and be like, hey, we need to do this, that, and the third with this person's account. Nah, they just go straight to the exchange now. I give it probably 15 to 18 months before this gets abused. Here's why I say that. In the States, we have something very similar. Shout outs to the mandem across the way, across the pond, as they say. Yo, they about to get in y'all ass. We have a similar set of things here in the US where, like, depending on where you are in the States, if you're traveling with cash, you go down through like Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, you anywhere over by Texas, over by New Mexico. If the trooper catch you or some local law enforcement catch you and you have the cash on you, oh, this is suspicious assets. This is a suspicious thing. Even when you can quote, say, well, I own a business that deals in cash, or, oh, I'm about to do a large purchase in cash. Nah, dog, they take your funds. And then what they'll do is, what the local state enforcement will do is, they'll take your funds. Sometimes they'll take a portion of it and then they'll give the rest of it, or if not all of it, to the federal law enforcement level folks. And so then what you have happening is, when you have the wherewithal or the ability to come back to that local law enforcement and be like, hey, here's my proof that this is my funds, I didn't do anything illegal. They say, well, all right, cool, but you got to take that up with the feds. They got your money. We don't got your money. This isn't exactly that, but I would argue, I don't know about that situation, William Clark, but I would argue that, because here's the thing, they're literally going off of, we suspect someone is doing criminal activity. And then you go from, we suspect someone is doing criminal activity, we've gathered X number of evidence, now we can go and execute and take the crypto assets. And remember, I covered the story about how Binance is now a part of Interpol, right? As far as like, they're in the messaging network. UK is a part of Interpol. So it's just like, oh, we just contact the what you call it directly. And I had covered a story a couple months back about how Russia put in their regulation. It was either Russia or China. Damn. All right, I'm live. I already said what I said. Where they'll be able to go to the exchange, partition off the person's account profile, and then they could liquidate your joint and then keep the profits. That's art. Like, and this is the stuff that I be saying, like, this whole thing of like, Russia and China are anti-crypto. Like, nah, they're literally changing their regulations to be able to do things on the law enforcement side that 100% say they know what's going on with the crypto stuff. That's just my take on that one. But nonetheless, like, this situation is going to escalate, and I give it maybe up to 24 months before this power, or this amended power of expansion, ends up getting abused. And it's not just going to be, quote, criminal people who end up feeling the ire of the law enforcement in this kind of situation. Again, like, it sounds nice as far as like, oh, we'll help law enforcement. And what law enforcement agency is not going to say no to more power? No, not none. Like, there's never a law enforcement agency that's like, well, we don't want to be able to just do that with the click of a button. We don't want to get more money to get more toys. Like, nobody does that. So yeah, I wonder then in how we'll see something like this come over here in the States, for how, oh yeah, YouTube is definitely acting. Well, I don't know if it's the YouTube side or if it's the restream that's being the issue, honestly. But nonetheless, this article was out of Crypto Daily, and again, it's titled "UK Law Enforcement Will Have Easier Time Seizing Crypto Assets." They're saying that they're targeting criminals first, but like I said, powers or abilities like this damn near always eventually get abused. We see it here in the States with how like state troopers down by like Alabama, the Texas, New Mexico states seize people's cash and the funkiness that they do with that. So just saying, people being people, right? Next story. This is from Cryptopolitan, and it's called "Crypto Firms Prevail as Energy Agency EIA Ends Data Request for Crypto Mining." So I read the story, right? And basically the DOE, which the EIA is under them, Department of Energy. Like, I don't think people understand how like sway and influential the DOE is. The DOE has like their own whole set of law enforcement. There's a whole own like thing for like their intelligence stuff. Yes, there's like an intelligence sector within the DOE. Their science and research stuff, like the DOE and the amount of money that runs around in that realm is real, right? And I read this article, and it basically came to the Texas Blockchain Council and Raya are like, hey, yeah, we won. Yeah, woo, woo, we won. Look, we got the EIA to stop, collecting data. And the basic thing, I covered the story, I think, last week, was that they were saying like, hey, this is a burdensome process. It takes more than 40 hours. It takes more than 30 minutes to answer these questions and provide the information that the survey was asking, which was not how the EIA presented this to the different mining companies in the beginning. And then they threatened them with fines if they didn't answer a survey. Like, put that shit in context. Hey, would you be interested in taking a survey? It only takes you 1 minute. Well, no, I don't want to answer it. Well, if you don't answer it, we're going to charge you $10,000. Well, damn. All right. Let me hold on. This is taking me an hour to answer. You said it would only take me 1 minute. It doesn't matter. Like, just answer it. It's a survey. Usually, surveys are like voluntary and they don't have financial repercussions. That is not how they moved with this. And my point of where I want to go with this is, I think that this is going to play out just like how the IRS situation played out for exchanges. So IRS is to exchanges like the DOE is to mining facilities. I hope that makes sense for y'all and what I'm trying to say in the correlation of, it was only a matter of time before the agency or department that was relevant to that sector, hence an energy dependent business or industry, that governing department would eventually be like, hey, tap tap, what's going on over there? What y'all doing? Like, wait, what do you use? Oh, what? And so what I think will happen, and it's ironic to me that in the way that this article is written, they're basically like, hey, the plaintiffs being Riot and the Texas Blockchain Council and the DOE and the other party I can't remember have basically come to a thing of like, hey, nobody did anything wrong. We're gonna stop the survey. Cool. Excuse me. And then we're going to destroy the data. Nowhere in this article does it say how long it's going to take them to destroy the data, how long they're going to hold the data. How do you verify that they destroyed the data? I feel like this is a level of smoke and mirrors. And so I imagine that the lawyers from Riot and from the Texas Council folks, Blockchain Council, as well as like the other independent like mining facilities are going, all right, this is cool for now, but what happens in 15 months? What happens in 2027? If you've been paying attention, or if you've been on the butt end of law enforcement, especially like US, like they may not come directly tomorrow, but they got long memories and deep bank accounts to hold cases open for a hot minute. And even if they close a case, it don't mean they won't reopen it under another set of like, oh, here's the issue. And so in my mind, I think that this situation of the EIA or just somehow the DOE is going to find another way to get the information they want. Because at the end of the day, they're trying to figure out, how does this affect how the one energy distribution is one thing, but like, how are we making money out of this sector growing within our realm? Mining in relation to cryptocurrencies as a thing, arguably, how does this work as a profit center, and what would be like the secondary markets and the third level things that would come off of this, in this, not, I don't know if nascent is the word, but this growing in the energy sector. Because think about how many blockchains are now proof of everything else besides proof of work. All of those things. Hey, what's going on, Corey? I appreciate you. All of those secondary things eventually lead to more jobs, more business, more tax for either the state or the federal level, more consumption of resources. So like, that's just like one angle of it. The point being is, I think that this is a temporary victory, just like how when Coinbase was first fighting the IRS, when all of the exchanges was first fighting the IRS, and then later on, some people went full on in. My second thought on this is, what will also probably end up happening is, if a state's smart enough, someone's going to be at the state level. Remember, the dog whistle, Biden's dog whistle was already blown. And I keep saying it. It's federal, state, county, city. These 4 levels of jurisdiction are going to look for various ways to either encourage the development and growth of some blockchain related company within their realm, or they're gonna do things to throttle it until they can figure out how the money part is gonna work for them. It all boils down to, how are we getting paid off of this? And so a state regulator might be on some, hey, if you're going to start a company after this time period, or if your facility is this square mileage or this square footage, or if you're running this many miners, once you get past this number, you have to then list all of your stuff. If I was a state level person, honestly, that's how I would come at this. I would be like, all right, well, the federal folks stop doing what they're doing. Bet, let's put this regulation through that we start getting the information, and then try to figure out what way is this going to work for, quote, our state. That's just my thought process. Cities might get swapped down by the state. Counties, depending on what state you're in, county regulators have sizable influence depending on what state you're in. And this is over here in the States thing. I should say it that way. But I don't see this as this is not winning the war. I should say that. This just is, you won a battle. Military jargon, right? or military referencing. All right. So this next story, I'm not certain if I should say I take this as a joke, but let me tell y'all what's up. So I took this one also off of Cryptopolitan, and it basically goes, furious Nigeria asks Binance CEO to show up as soon as possible. So basically their financial sector, what is it? So their House of Representatives is saying to the Binance CEO, the new Binance CEO, we're not talking about CZ no more. We're talking about the new guy. Basically, allegations are going about saying that they were involved in funding illegal activity, and that the CEO needs to show up in front of the Financial Crimes Committee within the House of Representatives there. Now, my thought process is, what the hell makes y'all think y'all have any sway to be able to tell the CEO he needs to show up in front of your committee? You're not the US, you're not the American Congress, and you're not, at least how I'm looking at this, you're not about to go like, listen, we're shutting down all of Binance's operations in country. You're not about to do that. Now, if the government had the balls enough to do that, that might raise some eyebrows, honestly. That might, like, because, like, what, okay, so why I'm saying that? I'm saying this because Nigeria has the largest, hey, what's going on, Will 45? Nigeria has the largest Binance footprint because of their user base, right? Of the different African countries, Nigeria is leading the pack as far as Binance user base. And so if you have it that more than 60% of your population under the age of, what is that, 35, and majority of them are involved in crypto in some way, hence they're using Binance, if you turn around and go, all Binance operations within Nigeria are on pause until further notice, guess who's going to show up at your door? The CEO guy. Or he's going to send the number 2. I forgot the name of the co-founder lady. I don't even know if she really does any of the touring stuff like that. But nonetheless, in my mind, if he showed up, I'd be surprised as hell. Like, he probably might send like the backup lawyer. Hey, I'll do a conference call with y'all, because according to this article, Binance is basically saying, well, we talked with y'all folks, last month, and no one ever said that there was a fine, and we're still waiting to get clarity on the legal evidence you guys have saying that we facilitated money laundering and the terror word. So that's how Binance is looking at it. But the committee is trying to be on some like, oh, well, you need to show up. And I honestly think there's some level of sensationalization. Y'all know what I'm saying? Like, they're being overzealous with how they're making it sound like the committee is really thinking that he needs to show up and they need to pay 10 million, literally asking for more than what the DOJ did here in the States. Like, what? No, sorry, was it 10? Where was I? Hold on, I might be off on that number. It wasn't 10 billion. Was it 10 billion? Yeah, but anywho, if he shows up, I'll be surprised. If they send a representative, that would be more of that makes sense. Like, why would you show up to a country that you don't take their legislative thing serious? It sounds messed up to say it that way, but like, that's how I would look at it. And I imagine a number of other people would look at it the same way too. But again, considering the market share that Nigeria is for Binance, the real question is, how big are the balls on their financial committee to be like, all right, bet. hey, let's go tap the SEC, the Nigerian version of the SEC. Let's go tap the other the side that deals with the banking infrastructure. All right, listen, we about to pause they whole shebang. Like, hey, ain't nothing getting sold in this mofo now. And it sounds grandioso, but if you really wanted the company to take you serious, as well as if you want the other exchanges to take you serious, and your jurisdiction or your ability to claim you have jurisdiction, guess what? You're gonna have to like draw a hard line. And the sad part is it would come at the expense of the users of the community base. That's the sad part. Not saying it's gonna happen, but in my mind, that would be the thing to work if you really wanted them to take you serious. But the other part is that committee would then have to tap on the shoulders of the financial committees, not the financial committee, but the financial governing agencies in order to make that happen. And like the law enforcement side of it, the executive side of it, executor side. Yeah. Anywho, yeah, so that was a thing. All right, so here's another situation, right? So Montana, I took this one, by the way. Yeah, thank y'all, man, for the folks who hit the thumbs up. I appreciate. I'm learning on the fly right now for this whole live situation. So took this out of Bitcoin.com and Bitcoin.com. And so Montana blasts SEC regulatory power grab in Kraken's case. Crypto assets are not automatically securities. So I got a story that's going to follow on the end of this that like kind of counters what's being said here. So basically, the state attorney is going on saying the SEC in the Kraken case overstepped their authorities by declaring that crypto sold on secondary markets, hence the exchanges, are automatically securities. And the idea or the concept of a investment contract that the SEC is saying is preempting what the state says, right? So their thing is, hey, the way that they used it, this now Montana in a coalition of other states, and I was actually surprised with this. So Arkansas, Iowa, Mississippi, Nebraska, Ohio, South Dakota, and Texas, and they basically filed what is called an amicus curiae document that is arguing about this situation of, hey, the way the SEC is going about stuff isn't right. One, they're saying that the Howey test isn't relevant for crypto because what the SEC says is that even though there's no concerted effort as far as like a person or people specifically working to make the quote value, what's going on Bitcoin Shango? So they substitute in saying, well, because they said it a certain way in here, and I don't want to I should have highlighted this. I didn't. Yeah. So the SEC says the ecosystem behind tokens is what counts as efforts of others. The Montana amicus thing is saying, well, no, that shouldn't count because that's not how the Howey test works. It's supposed to be efforts of actual others, but that's not what the SEC says. Bottom line is, I would be curious to see where this goes if it gets any traction. I'm surprised the number of states. Actually, you know what would be interesting with this? If New York jumped in on this. Now, granted, we all know New York and what's the state, not the state, coalition. Right. Damn, you about to be dying on here, bro. Yeah, the coalition of the willing. So yeah, my thought is this: like the level of how bout it are y'all? It's just an amicus thing, right? How far does this go going forward? We don't really know. But let's say something happened that New York's AG decided to support this. That would be really interesting to then, because if you look at the track record of New York over the last like 8 years, it has 100% been on some mafioso business with the crypto industry, right? It's all about we want to have the ability to control, manipulate, and say what happens within the New York borders when it comes to blockchain / crypto related companies. And so it would be interesting if New York jumped on this, which I don't see that. But it's interesting to note that the states have come together to try to push back on the SEC in relation to this. If it goes anywhere, I don't know how I would see it actually getting traction. Like, what would be the thing? Unless, again, I've said this a while ago, I still support the idea of filing freedom of information requests against the SEC and all of the Congress folks for their communication as it relates. Oh, as a matter of fact, and all of the crypto companies as it relates to their communications. And I say that because I imagine that there will be a trend and pattern of communication on how they would talk about going after companies or personalities, throttling the industry, curtailing certain parties in the space. Case in point, Reggie, I'm gonna throw this out to you as far as, and I'm not asking you to per se talk on the case, but I wonder if someone did a FOIA in relation to the SEC and everything related around Reggie's situation, I wonder what would come up. Like what communications were going on around Reggie, and I'm talking about the early cases stuff with Veritasium. I actually even wonder about the stuff going on now with the patents, because he's still getting the silent treatment. Just a thought, just throwing that out there. Nonetheless, my brain's all over the place right now. Sorry, y'all. Hadn't had the coffee yet. But as far as this thing goes, is this an indicator of something good? I don't know. Is this just states looking to buck up to the federal? 8 times out of 10, probably, yeah, because again, the dog whistle was blown, like, and everyone realizes they have to start working on clarifying their boundaries, their left and right parameters for what their jurisdiction is. And the state is always in a constant back and forth with the federal, right? Things like this, for example, that relate to the SEC and financial institutions or the financial industry is a perfect example. And yes, crypto fall within the financial industry for the sake of this particular conversation. Where this goes, I'm not 100% certain. It would be interesting to see if this actually leads to the SEC, if this actually leads to the SEC either coming back at Montana extra hard, or pause. Sorry, y'all. I don't know. It's an indicator, but I need to see something else within the courts or on the federal side that would give a little bit more clarity. But it's interesting to note this might mean that there's an uprising within the coalition of the willing, aka the states. So yeah, what is it? Oh, sorry, I'm reading the comments. So oh, all right, let me jump to this last one before I get out of here. So this was out of you know what? I'm annoyed right now. I'm not even gonna say the name of who it is because I have an issue with the CD folks, but I'm gonna still at least talk about the story real quick. So U.S. judge enters default ruling against ex Coinbase insider, says secondary market sales are security transactions. So the devil in the detail on this is that basically they're saying certain crypto count as securities, not all, which in my mind is like, well, then you're telling me it's all subjective. So and they're calling this the first case of insider crypto trading, which arguably it wasn't the first case of crypto insider trading. There was a case, I think, what is that? 2018, no, 2019 or 2020 or something like that. But nonetheless, what's getting me is they're saying certain crypto are securities automatically, and that's what would count towards the insider trading thing, which means it's subjective. It could be like this right now in the month of March, but come June, they say, oh, well, we're not counting those 3 anymore in the 10 that we gave you back in March. Like, that's some funkiness right there. And the same thing could happen a year or 2 from now. In my mind, SEC's playing games, and people are going to end up getting caught up. Bottom line. But again, still going off the whole thing of, is the Howey test even relevant to crypto in this day and age? When you actually go off of the literal of what it means versus giving the interpretation of what effort of other people is to say the Howey test is relevant to crypto and exchanges, blah, blah, blah. Nonetheless, I'm leaving it out on that one, right? So this was the first go for a live stream. Oh man, it was definitely a learning curve. I appreciate the folks who tapped in. Jake Fever, you are funny as always. No, who was that? Who said it was Bitcoin Shango. And Crypto City. Thank you. If you know, you know. I appreciate you. Reggie, shout outs to you for being one of the first ones who jumped in. Thank you. Who's the other person? Devian, thanks for also tapping in. Will 45, Will Clark, who else? Simonson family folks, thanks. Nerd Up Inc. What up? I appreciate you too. And Dnoid, hey, what's going on? Mongolia Pelican, thank you too, bro. Who else? There's somebody else. It was a new person. Corey, yeah, thank you, boss. I appreciate. So I probably might try to do these more, but usually just because of how things are going, I was going with the no face joints, and the production works a lot smoother than this on that side. But I appreciate the folks who tapped in. And I didn't get to cover as much as I usually do because I had to, streamline, but it is what it is. Nonetheless, these are the things that caught my brain. Some of them might be considered trends. Some of them might be considered indicators for what's going on in the space or about to happen in the space. Again, I'm not a financial advisor or a CPA or a lawyer, but I share these stories because they scratch my brain, and to me, they tend to show some kind of trend pattern and indicator for stuff going on in the space. Y'all know I'm not a price talk person, so I'll let y'all do what y'all doing in the live chat over there. I just know price go up, price go down, right? But a Bitcoin is a Bitcoin is a Bitcoin, as we used to say back in the day. Y'all new folks don't give 2 licks about that. Anywho, it's a Monday. It's raining in my city, but last thing before I jump out is second to last is this episode is brought to you by CJ the Smart Guy. He's a certified CPA. He focuses particularly in cryptos for individuals as well as businesses. And I'm not saying you got to use him, but the link is in the description. He does a whole, free, not free counseling, but like hey, man, we could just talk, see what your situation is, and see if his services is relevant to what you need. Again, if you're in an American jurisdiction, cross your T's and dot your I's. It's gonna be crazy this decade for some folks, y'all. The bottom line of it. And so his link is in the description. When you're doing your due diligence and finding who your CPA is, I'm saying more resources better than no resources, right? More options or whatever. But as I say, excuse me. Thank you, Crypto City. But folks will still press the issue of why I don't talk crypto price talk, stuff like that, man. So as I say, what is it? Damn, this live is rough right now. Shout outs to King, shout outs to Black Rule, shout out to the Simonson family, shout outs to Crypto and Down, shout outs to Stacks who coming up right after me, because y'all be doing this on the regular, and yeah, my brain is just all over. I wasn't mentally prepared for this. I literally just like woke up. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it, and we see the results. So as I say, what is it? It's a Monday. Have a productive over busy day. If it can't be a productive over busy day, at least be in a safe place, in a safe space, in a good company. And one human to the next, that is the best that I can wish you. Other than that, y'all, one. All right. Closing this out now.